Hello everyone, and welcome back to more Neyyah. For context, my last play session was just yesterday, so I am picking up with this all still fresh in my mind. And I have a pretty clear idea of where to go next. We are going to go to this Velitron Machine, presumably to recharge this Neyyah that I picked up at the lab. And after that, I'm assuming we'll run into some obstacle there, right? We will try going to the Scarlidi Towers and just poke around there a bit, maybe find the camera power system. We will see. So how do I get out of here again? Right, we rode a rail cart here. Alright, let's head back. So yeah, I mean, overall thoughts on this game so far. I'm having a good time. Like, I am really enjoying this game. But honestly, it needs to be said, it's kind of the elephant in the room. There's just too much text. Like, there's too much reading, and I enjoy reading in video games, but I feel like there's just way too much, too many notes around. I would disagree with the idea that there are too many, there's too much terminology to learn. Like, I think that's kind of cool that there's so much, there are so many, concepts that we have to learn in this game. I just think there's too much text. There are too many notes just laying around. Like, especially, the most egregious example I can think of is the notes in the lab on the mines that is literally just duplicated. Like, in the computer system, it's there. I feel like a lot of the kind of just random sheets of paper that are lying around, they need to find a home, right? They need to be in a book or in some kind of collection, like the computer system, right? And so, when you see something like, the computer system having text that's the same, exact copy-paste text that's just on the counter, like a few, screens away, it's like, what are you doing? Like, you have an overwhelming, way too high amount of notes just sitting around on this desk. And some of it is literally just copy-paste in the computer. Like, just get rid of it, and just have it be in the computer screen, because that's its home. It has found its place where it belongs. But, it says a lot about how good this game is at its core, that despite there being all of this extra text kind of weighing it down, I'm still having a good time. You can clearly see in these videos that I am generally optimistic about this game. I am, having a lot of fun playing this, in spite of there just being too much reading. there just too many notes around. If you could cut it down to, maybe 80% of the text that's in the game, total right now, that I think would be within an acceptable level. Still very high, but an acceptable level for somebody who likes reading in video games. Also, can we please close this rock? I feel like I'm going to get a bad ending here, where I'm just gonna go into this machine and use it, and then turn around and Smolox is just gonna be standing there. Can we please, close this door? It's so obvious that anybody could just follow me in here. And it's obviously supposed to be very hidden. I've undone all of the locks and steps to get into this machine. It's just sitting open now. It's a sitting duck. But yeah, anyway. Also, I thought of a minor plot hole that I think would be very easy to fix. Which is, it's, suggested that Mason is supposed to have been able to figure out, this thing that I'm doing now, right? He's supposed to have, just by stumbling around the factory area, he's supposed to have figured out, how to open that rock, and then get up in the dome and drain the water from this. But he couldn't have done that because he didn't have the dome key, because that was in Vamir's secret office, which from Mason's journal we know he didn't have access to. So he wouldn't have been able to follow Vamir's instructions that he left on the map for him. Therefore, he would not have been able to do this. Of course, we know he didn't do this. But not even theoretically, he wouldn't have been able to do this. And the solution to that would be very easy. Just move the dome key to the lab HQ on the Galorfiak mines. Because then Mason would definitely have access to it, and it wouldn't break the sequence of puzzles either, because that whole area is gated behind having the spare key. The spare key can stay at the secret office. Only the dome key needs to move to lab HQ, and then Mason would be able to access the dome, especially because the computer system there reveals the existence of the flowers anyway. So, like, it would just make sense to have the key be in the same, proximity to that computer system. In fact, why don't you take the note, that is just duplicated text from the computer system there, and just replace that with the dome key? It'd be an infinitely cooler thing to find there. And again, it would not break the order of the puzzles, because you need the spare key to get there anyway. And then Mason would be able to use it. If you want to help me support this cause, please sign my change.org petition to have the dome key moved from the secret office to the lab HQ, so that Mason would realistically be able to use it and do this whole plan of getting into this Velitron machine. I'm sure it'll be a very popular petition. We'll get 100k signatures in a week. But yeah, I understand that now it would be a pretty expensive decision to, I have no idea what this is going to do. Let me just climb this ladder first. But now it would probably be a pretty expensive decision to... Oh, I can't go up here. Okay. It would probably be a pretty expensive decision to rewrite some of this text, because it's already been localized into a bunch of other languages. But I really hope that they just cut it down a little bit more, because right now that is the main thing holding me back from recommending this game to my friends. It's already a good game, but it would be elevated to great game status if there was just a little bit less text. Like, it would still be a lot of reading, like it's going to be no matter what, but if there was just a little bit less, like, notes lying around, if they were, kind of... And it's not bad to have some notes lying around, but if just some of them were, condensed into books, or just, kind of compounded into sort of one area, instead of just having, like, a bunch of papers kind of strewn about everywhere. Also, this feels very, this feels like a big decision, so even though I just saved, I'm going to save again here to walk through this portal, because, yeah, this feels like kind of a big deal. So I'm going to save... Actually, you know what? I'm going to overwrite my first save slot, because I'm for sure not using that anymore. I'm not going back that far. Alright. Oh, I think that broke the video. Hold on. Yeah. Oh well. It fixed itself. Alright, let's go. The Velitron Temple. Okay. So this is the big secret that Vamir was trying to hide, and I guess... Okay, yeah, that's how we get back. Alright. So we can go back. Of course, we have another book. Hayen's journal. Hayen's journal. That was the strong warrior guy. We read about him at the in one of the scrolls.
It's been a long day spent overseeing ammunition storage at Lariti. The two young soldiers who were stationed there today, Malik and Tala, give me such hope and joy, demonstrating how proficient and organized our guard here on the Blue Philidian can be. Training these young men and women in the use of the Tuluk, making sure they can mount them on the window rails on the top floor of any gun tower, and making sure the plasma discs are all in good working order in the early hours of every morning. Gives me hope that we can stand firm and hold a strong defense against Sharus's forces.
Wow, we have narration now.
My thoughts glaze over the days when spears were used as a means to defend our land. before they became a decoration to buildings such as the main chambers of Vinovia Point. I realize how things have changed as I handled all the boxes of saloon cheek bullets today. These weapons accomplish the work of a dozen spearmen, taking out large numbers of incoming Alopolites. On ground level,
They're not. It's pronounced Alopolites. Okay. I kept seeing the double E and thinking it had to be pronounced like eel, but okay.
and in the air. Towers like Loriti stand tall and strong, not only due to the brilliant engineering minds that have put everything together, but also because of the heart and soul of the people who maintain them and defend them, acting when the time strikes to do what is needed to protect our land. Soon after ticking off my morning errands at the harbor, I proceeded to accompany Belilka to the Paida factory. I am so proud of this beautiful young woman. I recall the days when she would aid her father tame Maleva cats in the Wadelk district of Fazalta, her clothes almost in tatters, her face blackened by dirt and scratch marks always finding their way across her arms and legs. Now, she's adorned in the cherry reds, crimson oranges, and the deepest blacks of the Payoltish clan robes. As we crossed the bridge from the beacon, built just below Loriti, approaching the stairs leading up to the doors of the Paida factory, I stopped Belilka in her tracks, looked her in the eyes, and placed my old, rugged, battle-beaten hands upon her shoulders. "Is this what you want?" I asked her. "Is this really what you want?" "For the Pelska," she replied, strands of her black hair lashing out into the wind, her eyes squinting in the afternoon sun that set ablaze the ocean world around us. "I do this for our people, Hyan. For our Philidian. For Vazalta." I paused in my response, but at this moment, I felt my hand squeeze her shoulders, as though in some strange attempt to try and savor what was left of the young girl I'd seen growing up in the Wadelk district. Untouched by the strange and unknown forces she was now dealing with, beholden to the magic beyond any of our comprehension, or at least mine anyway. In some way, this new line of work put her in more danger than being face to face with any Malavicat. Her training on Quan had gone by quickly. She had done very well. I smiled at her and nodded, and we continued up to the Paida factory, putting faith in Belilka that she knew what she was doing. Steam rose from the tall metal vents built on top of the factory. The Viafil gas was being prepared for the upcoming creation. The doors opened and the smell of the stale gas hit me. It was almost as harsh as the smell of Velopolite blood. This was my second time accompanying Belilka to the factory. She appointed me as her protector to Quinonovic himself. Quan had offered much in the ways of the relaxing walks and forest hikes on the day I had decided to escort her to the Valari Citadel. But when I received this news at a gathering later that day, all the smells of the Bulova trees I had passed, and the sounds of the Talarock birds nesting comfortably on rocky outcrops I had ventured out to, overlooking the Parlari Sea, were torn out of me by the swipe of Dread's blade, rushing into my heart, turning my blood cold. I helped Belilka into the capsule of the tank, as I held the Viafil gas mask for her, while she made herself as comfortable in the capsule as possible. I pondered over memories beginning to surface in my brain, of going up against the Lopolite demons, nearly twice my height, eyes as blue as sapphires, and serpent tongues sharp enough to take my head clean off. Yet, danger grew thorns through my heart faster here than anywhere else I had been stationed before. As a soldier, a warrior, and protector of the Blue Philidian, my hand shook under the sweaty grip of the mask. And once Belilka nodded to me that she was ready, I almost struggled to lift the mask up to her face. It was as though invisible chains fused the mask down to the grated metal flooring below me. "It's okay," Belilka muttered. Her voice was soft yet confident. Those two words powerful enough to dampen out the surrounding hiss of active gas pipes enshrouding the tank and the nearby chatter of the other Payoltish clan members. She smiled, and I smiled back. I brushed away loose strands of her black hair away from her face and helped place the mask over her head. I made sure the gas tube was securely tightened to the mask and the nearby connection to the tank itself. Ready to go. The creation needed to begin. I heard the shift of gears and grind of metal as the elevator below on the watery ground floor of the Paita factory began to rise, carrying the freshly harvested Paita into the mysterious heart of the tank. I stepped back, hearing a loud chunking metal sound resonate through the building. The Paidas were securely loaded. Slowly, I closed the door of the capsule, drowning Belulka's fused state in shadow, her hands clasped tightly to the handles either side of her, activation points releasing the required vital gas into her mask, the right amount of madness to enter her body, to start performing even more madness. The door was closed. All 4 doors were closed, holding the Peyote's clan members inside, while myself and 3 other warriors stood guard outside each capsule. All we could do is wait, while the rumble of the Paida factory's numerous pipes rattled above us, to the sides of us, and the smell, a gas leak? Working in the Paida factory offered me an insight into a world I could barely comprehend. I was a fighter, a protector, not a magician or a being from another world. Kunonovic knew what he was doing. We all trusted this man, this being. The Pelskas trusted him. But what intentions did he have for us? For Belulka? Was this right? The activity that was taking place before me?
Soon enough after the creation had been performed, the Paitas were taken away from the factory. Not by Belulka, or Halast, or Velitron, or Latroke. A young girl and older woman had come for the collection, taken them away to a nearby boat which had docked at the far side of the factory.
Close to the railcar tunnel entrance. These will be transported to Quan for further distribution under the guidance of Kunonovic and the Pelskas. Belulka was the last Peyotish clan member to leave the factory. On her first performance of the creation, she had needed a while to rest outside of her capsule, and I'd managed to retrieve some water from Olsgard, a fellow soldier, protector of Latroke, to help cool her down and hydrate her. Today, she had managed to remove the mask herself and stepped out of the capsule, fairly wide-eyed and awake.
I did help her get to the boat docked at the harbour, where the other Peyotish clan members were also waiting. Master Darmatai had arranged a meeting with the clan at Panovia Point. From what Belulka did tell me, it was in regards to new systems being installed at the factory.
Maybe I was right about leaking biofuel gas after all. After waving her off, I desperately needed something to calm my nerves. Again, having fought so many Alopolites in my time, nothing wrecked my mind more than knowing Belulka was being subjected to such strange, mysterious powers. A drink was needed. At the entrance to the Kayenti Hall, I was greeted by a good friend of mine, Tarek, who worked regular guard duty at the recently built factory guard tower on Golorfiak Mines. Before I could enter the hall, he stopped me and brought me aside. He was very troubled. Last night, earth tremors had been picked up from the levitation crane at Skaliti Towers, and he had felt them himself, all the way on Golorfiak Mines. He told me there was something coming, something which will disturb everything here on the Blue Philidian. I was quick to reassure Tarek that the gun towers are regularly checked, manned, and ready for any attack that befalls our shores, having performed an ammunition storage check earlier that day at Lariti. I also reminded Tarek of the new defenses being developed at Golorfiak Mines. Floating machines, faster than any boat, and the Galanti podiums being upgraded to send and receive faster Galahanti messages. We entered the Kayenti building, both slightly lighter in spirit, ready to rest and enjoy the company of all the hard-working men and women at the Blue Philidian. The building is shaking. I believe Tarek has already fled. What is going on? I managed to find Tarek, helping to fuel the lavandishing furnace of Lariti. He was badly wounded. And before I could... Poor Tarek. He was right. They have come. 6 Alopolites slain. Bigger than usual. I managed to catch a glimpse of Charus, adorned in his Alopolite mask, a defamation and insult to the Pyotish clan, to our world. The harbor is lost. If only the shield had been finished. We were too late. I must get to the Velitron Machine. Belulka, travel well, my dear. I shall stay here at the Velitron Temple until the darkness completely takes me. The rumbling outside continues to shake the outer walls. A company of soldiers remain outside, but I don't know for how long they can keep Charus back. He will try anything to get to the Velitron. It must remain protected. I will do all I can Kunonovic, it has been a pleasure.
Okay. Interestingly, we do not pick up this journal. And that is what's there. Okay. So it's detailing Heian's attempts to hold back the Eelglite forces. I'm going to continue to call them that because I can't remember. I cannot remember. I can't get straight how to say that. That's the same symbol on this, right? I believe it's meant to be. Aha. Okay. So this is probably the much talked about Velitron Machine. And that's going to recharge our Pieta. Oh yeah, it's gigantic. Okay. I'll do that in just a second, but I want to explore this place first. Oh, okay, this is just flooded, actually. There's not much to see. What about in the opposite direction? We can continue this way, because there are boards here. Ooh, where are we? We're out on a beach somewhere. That is the symbol. Okay, so this is the symbol of the Velitron Machine. And obviously those are meant to be Pietas. So I'm anticipating that we're going to recharge our Pieta, but I don't know where we're going to use it once, we're done. And, what's this thing? Kind of looks like those active points. But I'm not too sure. It's not interactable in any way. It's just kind of here. Huh. Well, that must be important, but I do not yet know what for. Nothing else here. I'm just being very thorough in this area. Yeah, our only option is to go that way. Okay. Well, there must be a reason for going out there, but I do not yet know what. Maybe something will change out there eventually. Open. Let's try putting the orange Pieta in here. Ooh, it does not go in here. I'm clicking it, but it doesn't go in here. I thought for sure that's what would go in there, but it's not. Okay, so we actually need something else. I don't really... It has to be a Pieta, and it shows specifically as an inventory item. Or no, wait, does the canister go there? Because it does. They did say that it requires an oil canister, didn't they, for this machine? Let's try that. Ah, okay, that goes there. Right. So I'm expecting still that I need to put a Pieta in here somewhere, but this is just for the oil canister. Okay. Activation code. Ah, okay. Now the problem is we still don't know the floral number system. Oh. The flora number system is these guys. The, sort of cut-off Ys. I've seen them around somewhere, but I had not been paying them much attention. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I can solve half of this, but I still can't solve the flora ones. Huh, okay. Wait, so these are like alphabet letters. I wasn't expecting... Didn't he say that it was going to be all numbers? I wasn't expecting there to be alphabet letters here. These are obviously constellation numbers. Okay. So I do understand, how this alphabet works. I have it all written down. So I can, put in letters here if I know what letters to use. But, I wasn't expecting letters. I was expecting, like, flora, constellation. So that's kind of odd. But I can at least try and figure out these guys. The sort of cut-off Y icons. Those are probably around someplace that I can figure them out. Okay. So yeah, I still don't quite have the solution for that yet. But we are now here. So we have found the Velitron Machine, which feels like a major milestone. Of course, I wasn't really expecting to be able to do anything there yet, because that feels like kind of a major goal of the game. So let's head back. So I'm gonna make a, I'm gonna have to remember. I should just write a note again. I have to make a note to myself. Look out for the cut-off Y symbols. Or, cut-off Y symbols are flora numbers. And then apparently there's 2 alphabet letters, which is very strange to me. I wasn't expecting there to be alphabet letters there. Could it be, okay, in the... next to the constellation numbers, there was a journal there, and each number had an associated word. So is it that I have to, use the constellation number, right? If it's 4, right, then, find the constellation number for 4. And then it's the first letter of the associated word with that constellation number. That could be. But that relies on there being something similar for the flora. And I know much less about the flora symbols, unfortunately. That could be. That's the theory I'm going with for now. That sounds like it's potentially the case. Again, I'm not using any hints here, so I have no idea if I'm right on that. But, if I had to associate a letter with each number, that would probably be the first place that I'd turn. Fortunately, because I know very little about the flora number system, and I don't remember really where I saw all the places I saw it, I can't really do the same for the flora number system. That's just something I'm going to have to remember to look for now, with be more diligent about. Let's go to these Scarlidi Towers and see what's going on there. We got a key for the Scarlidi Towers at some point. We are here at the Scarlidi Towers. I did briefly walk into this portal just quickly one time, but then I immediately turned around and left. So I've not explored this area whatsoever. And it's quite late into the game, honestly, and I think that is one of the floor numbers right there, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Just on that icon there. Maybe this is where we will learn those. Yeah, it's right there on that building. All of these have the same icon. So maybe we're gonna learn the name, we're gonna learn, more precisely the number of this area, and that will tell us what this number is. What's in here? Yes, the levitation crane. I was expecting to see it sooner than later once I, kind of went in here. The Scarlidi Towers. Once the levitation crane was built and the surrounding walls secured, Kononavik demanded that the 3 towers would be built to protect the levitation crane. Aided by the Peoltish clan, an engineer by the name of Lyethel Scarlidi designed these 3 towers, and each one became a key component in the operation of the levitation crane. Zaloom 2K weaponry can be mounted at the 4 windows of each tower in case of Elopolite attacks. 4 soldiers to each tower, 2 workers to operate the individual mechanisms placed at each tower. The gates. The harvesting of the Paida will take place at the levitation crane via the use of boats, departing from the harbor of Litsu Island. 3 soldiers shall work and guard the gates to allow the boats to enter the basin. During the harvest, once sea levels have dropped to safe level within the levitation crane basin, onlookers can watch from the arena and witness the spectacle of our beautiful Paidas being raised from the ocean floor, with our first step in a magical journey, fueled by the talents of the Peoltish clan, cleansed by the Velitron, and thus enabling our world to thrive. Right, I'm still convinced we already have the Paida, right, that we're going to need to use. It's the one we picked up at the Lab HQ. That one is presumably out of power. It even has the Velitron Machine icon on it, as if to suggest that you need to use it there to recharge it, right? So that's what we're going to put there. I just need the number combination for that now, basically. Elevator power box. What's going on this screen? Levitation system and plasma shield. Right, these are going to start becoming relevant now that we're here. Levitation power status inactive. Requires successful transmission of Lavandis crystal frequency for activation. Lavandis crystal frequency system waiting for microphone signals. Data received from signal tower at arrival sector. Yes, we've seen that building. That's in the Lavandis zone. It's the very first eye that we can walk through. Just in that area. So yeah, it makes sense. Arrival sector, that is where we arrived. So that tower sort of needs to be on. It needs to have received a microphone signal from whatever it is for that to work. Alright? For this specific thing, which I assume is here, in this place. Plasma shield status. Status. Inactive. Lavandis crystals are currently unprotected. Do I want to activate that? Maybe I want them to be unprotected. Do I want to go in and just grab them? We'll leave that inactive for now and see what goes down with that if I try and use it. That's just decorative? Okay. Or, this is actually... I've learned now the red things are cameras. It's probably a camera that's watching me do this. Levitation crane. Ooh. Yeah. Okay, I saw the secret button. Yeah, I kind of wanted to read this, but it's not very hidden. I noticed it right away. Levitation crane. The Piolta clan surveyed the oceans along with Konanovic and the Four Rulers. Far away from the western coastline of Jalta, a machine was constructed called the levitation crane for the purpose of raising Pietas from the ocean's surface. Yeah, so they're raised out of the ocean. They're on the surface of the ocean and they get levitated. A circular wall was built around the crane to protect it, forming a basin at its center. The arena was also constructed with multiple entrances for the public to watch the marvelous operations of the Pieta harvest. The levitation crane is powered by Lavandis crystals, which grow naturally on a black rock called Erlinish. The Scarliti towers are used as power sources to suck up Pieta from the ocean. Controlled via two of the towers, giant clamps are set at either side of the Lavandis crystal power source, which, alongside the power of this third Scarliti tower, generate energy to begin the levitation process. Pietas will hover in the shaft of the crane, ready for collection. So, the Lavandis zone, which we've seen on Felizu Island, and yeah, in fact, it actually points out they are there on Felizu Island, growing there. They are connected to this area. They are linked to this whole Scarliti tower machinery. Okay, was there anything else in this room before I press that button, just to be extra sure? No, that's all boarded up. Okay, obviously I want to see what's behind this secret button. I haven't even explored the not-secret areas of this yet, but, you know, secret button, why not? And, hey, wouldn't you know, there's another one of these setups. Again, you know, I've seen these. I've seen all of these, right? So I saw one on Minerva Point that looked exactly like this, except, you know, obviously with a different triangle. I've seen one here. Obviously, I'm standing in front of it. I've seen one in Glorfiak Mines. It's kind of built into a bench, right? There's one there that's sitting on the beach, right? And I've seen one in the secret office. That one, as far as I can tell, did not have a button. So I don't know what the deal is with that. And I still don't understand what's up with all of these. Like, I don't know if me pressing this is having any impact at all. If that is triggering anything. It doesn't feel like it is, right? Do I just need to have pressed all of them? I don't know. These are obviously secret. They are being hidden from someone. But I don't know what they tie into or what they are a part of. I guess, you know, for the sake of posterity, I will draw this one too. I've drawn all three of the others. Not that it really matters, because it's just the shape of each portal. Right? I've caught onto that pattern now. So these screws here with these triangles on it, they're not revealing information to me. Because it's just the shape of the portal, which I've already deduced. So, you know, there's something about this that I'm not getting. Maybe I should go back to the secret office and inspect the screw that is there again, and look for a button in the area of the secret office. I don't know. Are these Smolox's contraptions that he's hiding from Vamir? Because it kind of feels like they might be, right? Because Vamir has one of them in his office just sitting there as if he discovered one that he was not supposed to and, like, unscrewed it, took it back to his office. So I don't know what's going on with those. Well, whenever this becomes relevant, I know that it's just right here next to the entrance. So that's good. We can go this way. Sure, press it. Huh, what did that do? We hear what sounds like air going through this tube, probably, but I don't know what that connects to. I was kind of expecting that this would extend the bridge, but it did not. Of course, you know, that would then be a useless obstacle, because why would you have a bridge that is just easily activated by a button? That's not much of a puzzle. That's, you know, to have a bridge where there's just a button right in front of it that turns it on. Okay, so there's a wheel. This button attaches to this. It goes down here, and it goes down to this thing, which you can walk up to. There's the button. Uh-huh. And it's attached to this thing, which just kind of ends in midair. This walking on... Oh, there's a ladder here. Hold on. Uh-huh. That's a camera. So I am being watched in this area. Oh, it's not a camera. It's a status indicator this time. Okay. Sure. I can't change this lever back, so I guess what I did must be a good thing. Whatever that was. Alright. Maybe we try pressing the button again now. I don't know. It's not like I have a very good idea of what any of this machinery is doing. Obviously, I understand somewhere in this area, probably, you know, this entire thing is to do with the levitation crane. Still nothing from this button. Alright. Okay. Oh, maybe that's because in the building over there, this contraption, wasn't this one of the things it said was inactive? Maybe I have to activate it. But that means that the Lavandis crystals will be protected. Is that what I want? Again, another useless button. I've grown accustomed to them. That's all that's here, right? Okay. And somewhere around this area, I'm going to have to look for a keyhole to use. Yeah. Because I have a Scarliti Tower key. You know, somehow I know that key is from this area. So I suspect I have to go into that building and power, you know, turn that thing on. But let me just go over here. You know, fully explore every angle. You know, I want to know what the problem is first before I immediately go solving it. That's the thing. Oh! What's this? Okay, salt, obviously. Water controls shed. Flooding the basin. Damir, I replaced the fuses at the plug mechanism on the lower level of the basin, as well as the plasma shield console inside the control bunker. Along with a couple of new bulbs I've installed in the console behind you, the two signals required to flood the basin will now be stronger. I just hope you remember where you stored the key for the console, Mason. Ah, so this is where the key is relevant. So I replaced the fuses at the plug mechanism on the lower level of the basin, as well as the plasma shield console. Yeah, we've seen that. Along with a couple of new bulbs I installed in the console behind you, the two signals required to flood the basin will now be stronger. Okay. Microphone signals? Still kind of unclear. But, okay. So, I'm learning we're going to be flooding this basin, probably. To what end, I'm not quite sure. Also, there is a ladder over there, so we must be able to get over there. But I don't see an obvious path leading up to it. Okay. Obviously, this takes a Pieta. This one is like that upwards line and top energy. So this one. Yeah, nothing. Okay. Okay, that's where we insert our key, hey? Okay, so Scarliti key. We have it. Okay, that accepted our key, but still this is not doing anything. Oh. No, that's the same control. Okay. So, put in the Paida, we put in the key, but this is still wrong then, I assume. This indicator, you know, it needs to change. And it probably reflects the microphone signals, based on what I read in the note. Seems most likely. Because nothing else on this screen is interactable, except for this lever, which does not do anything. Okay. Let's try flipping the only other switch here that I can, which is the console in there. We can turn something on. Okay, we turn that on. Hopefully that is a good thing. It usually is in this game. You usually can't mess things up for yourself, as far as I can tell. Okay, that indicator has gone to yellow. So probably... yeah, probably that means there is still one other step we have to do, and it probably pertains to the microphone signals, right? So probably both of these things have to be active, right? This is easy to activate. This is inactive. So we need to go back to that tower and kind of determine where it is pointing. You know what? I bet that's what is behind that security door. I bet we have to get through that security door in order to do that. Because probably the microphone tower is pointing at what is behind that security door, or the area we can access behind it. So just to confirm, I now go down here, and I'm assuming, you know, it's much the same story. Actually, there was nothing to do down here. I did the only thing that I could do down here. Oh yeah, I see it. That is powered on. So that's what we did. Yeah, the thing directly in front of us. Still nothing happens there. Alright. We will pull the only other lever that is left to pull. It's the obvious one up here. But other than that, I think I've done kind of everything here that I can do right now. And then we are going to have to figure something out. Oh, these are green now. Okay, does this work now? Am I going to turn around and it's going to be filled with water now? Uh-huh. Yes. And I got an achievement. Flooded. Water has rushed into the towers. Indeed. Okay. I'm surprised. I thought we were going to have to leave and figure out how to deal with the microphone signal, but we do not need to do that yet, but we might have to come back and do that at some point. Why I wanted there to be water here? Maybe it's for this contraption, right? It sucks up water, is that it? Yeah, okay, so the tube down here it goes into the water. It needs water to power it. That's why. What's this? Okay, that is the same icon we saw for elevator power. Of course. It's so anticlimactic. So we can get over here now. Huh. Okay, that appears to be directed at that tower. More of the plant icons. Maybe I should check. I did get a journal at one point that was that had flora in it. Maybe it reveals this number system? I didn't really read it very closely, so it's quite possible. Another one of these things here. Interesting. I'm assuming this is to do with the levitation. So did they just kind of copy this idea in the spore heating area? Also, that's right. That was another thing I realized while I was away from this game. In the lab HQ, there is like a thing I turned on where it, like, I turned on heat to it, and then spores kind of fell down into the water. And I realized that's like a miniature, right? It's like a demonstration of the spore heater chamber, the area with the 4 portals around it that lead to all these different worlds. That's like a miniature of that, isn't it? I bet that it kind of works the same way as that thing. Okay, so now we can get over there, but the button there is kind of useless. It's just as useless as this one here. So these must be elevators, but we need elevator power. And that probably pertains to this power box in here. Yeah, so we have this power box. This button doesn't seem to do much of anything, as far as I can tell. It's not changing anything. And that's probably because this is not all the way on still. This is active, but this is inactive. Assuming that this computer system kind of feeds into this elevator power box, that would mean that the reason the elevators are not working is because there is no microphone signals. So now we really have to go and figure that out. Was there anything useful on here for this? No, there's nothing pertaining to the elevators there. Okay. Okay. Well, I think we've done everything here. At least for now. Once we figure out what the deal is with the Lavandis zone, then we will come back there.